And good afternoon, everybody. It's 1 o'clock on Thursday, 1 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, depending on where you are. It could be any time. I did a show with a fella from Lisbon, Portugal, the other night, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning where he was, and I just thought he was silly for staying up that late. But, ladies and gentlemen, John Russell stuck at home today with Mr. Michael Callahan. Michael Callahan is one of my good friends that I met in comedy, and I don't get to spend enough time with him. I think the last time that we hung out together was at your house about 4 summers ago, it seems like.
It can't possibly be 4 summers ago.
I think it was. And but folks, if you don't know Michael, Michael is a very well-established comedian, magician, mentalist. He also runs Second Story Comedy in St. Peter, Minnesota. And I'm so happy that you're here with us, Michael.
Oh, John, I am so honored to be with you. It's so good to see you. Like you said, we don't see each other enough anymore. This is a treat. This is a real treat.
I know.
In fact, it's such a treat, John. I treated it like an actual gig, and I have put on I'm dressed for you. I have my close-up magic table for you. I mean, you should smell me, John.
Believe me, I took a shower today too. Because I smelled myself. But the point being, it's just so great to have you with me. And there's so many things to talk about with you. And I really want to let people know about you because I gotta tell you, I know some comedians and magicians, and I think the magic and mentalism that you do is by far leagues above anything else that I've ever seen, and in fact anything else that I've ever worked with. And my favorite memory is with you blowing the people in Minnesota away with not 1, not 2, but 3 absolutely show-stopping I don't like to call them tricks, illusions. I don't know what you call
whatever you want.
I don't want to call them tricks. Tricks seems too lowbrow.
So lowbrow. The entire thing is lowbrow.
It isn't. No. And then one of my other favorite memories was after you literally had them give you a standing ovation when you were done.
Crazy.
And people came up to talk to us. The first thing that some of them still said was, "Man, the first guy last year really sucked." Do you remember that? That was the worst. But let me ask you, Michael. So you live over in St. Peter. How's the stay-at-home been treating you? How you been dealing with that?
Well, I am part school teacher now. I maintain the normal role of housekeeper and chef. Added school teacher, and now we've also added soccer coach as well. So it's going very well. I probably should go ahead and just update my CV at this point. I need to get it all on there so when I'm out shopping to do this work for someone else, I can impress them with my background of child rearing skills.
So some people may or may not know this. I don't know if you want me to reveal it, but your wife is also a doctor.
She is. I met her when we were in high school. I had just been accepted into engineering school, and she had just been accepted into driver's ed, to give you an idea how young we were. And so technically, I am a trophy. It has worked out very well. It's a lot of fun. She's a total rock star, and she's, of course, facing all of this right now and doing a great job with it, and all that sort of stuff. So
yep, and the girls are handling how, because I don't remember how old are your girls?
12 and 6. They actually are getting along better. It's
wow.
Yeah, just at some point you just give in. You're like, all right, clearly it's you, it's me. We're in this together. The friction, at some point you rub 2 things together. Eventually, everything gets smooth.
That's true. So, do you remember what the last gig you had was before all of the wheels fell off everything?
It's funny. I should, but it all happened in a way so fast that the line between the work I did and the work I didn't do, I believe that it was similar to what I did that you were describing. I had a fire department's gala, end of the year gala, in I think it was Fairfax, Minnesota. Another great crowd, another great room. Oh my gosh, John, the show that you saw, it's changed so much. There's so many new things you haven't seen, some of which we'll get to today.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait.
I know.
It's exciting. And of course, you had been doing the shows at Second Story.
Yeah.
And they all came. So for people that aren't familiar with Second Story over in St. Peter, it's not like a weekly comedy room, but it's more like a monthly, right?
It is a monthly. And, one of the things that I'm most proud of is resisting the urge to overdo it, to even, go 2 times a month. And the thing is, we only do 9 shows a year, and those 9 shows are special, and it's the right amount. I kind of said, I've joked, I've got a wonderful base of season ticket holders. We only sit 120 people, and I've got 72 season ticket holders who have just continued to support this. Yeah, which really creates the cornerstone that I need to be able to hire the good comics and know that everything's going to be okay on the year. It's better when it's special. That's been the big thing is that I just, of course, you wish you'd invented Chipotle, but it's okay if I've got a rock star food truck. That's fine. We'll do it. So
it all works. It all works. So let's go back to when you started. Were you a magician before a comedian, or a comedian before a magician?
I was a magician first. In college, I started doing card tricks at a restaurant, and in fact, people have asked me, "So did you do magic to get your girlfriend, to get your wife?" It's like, no, you hide that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, some people's like,
it's more like, yeah, I'm going to be an engineer, and this is all very, real, all this, and then it's like, surprise.
by the way, this is Eddie. He's a rabbit. You don't do you never did any of the rabbit stuff. You for as long as I've known you, you're so good at close up.
Thanks.
But you've also got where I've seen huge stage productions too.
Sometimes. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, and I was going to say, it's just the variety of things that you do, and the things that you do so well, that I've seen you do so well, is just amazing.
Well, I appreciate that. You start, there's almost no magicians that can fill a stage that can't also work closely. And the reason for that is when you start, you're not given a stage, right? So your only audiences are going to be small, close-up, intimate audiences. And in a way, it's a crucible that you have to pass through to start to earn larger audiences. And I was lucky enough to go to school in Boulder, Colorado, which is a top 5 street performing spot in the world. And so, even before I was doing the restaurant work, I was down there on the weekends and in the evenings and the summers, next to down the block from world-class street performers, watching how they turned nothing. People who were on the way to dinner, had other plans, and suddenly not only did they stop, they'd watch the show for 15, 20 minutes. Not only would they watch the show, hundreds of them would watch the show, and then they would give the guy or gal money. I mean, I was trying it too. And I got to say, I remember not being able to get 3 people to stop, not getting anybody to stop, finally figuring out how to get 5 or 6 people to stop, and eventually getting, crowds of 30 maybe but these guys, like the pros, the professional street performers, you'll see, it's 4 rows deep, hundreds of people. They make an obscene living.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you also, people don't know this, I don't think, but it's close a knit community as comedians are. Mm-hmm. Hi, Danny. Thanks for looking in, buddy. Appreciate it. Hey. Magicians are even closer knit, aren't they?
Yes, they are. In fact, that was one of the surprises to me. I really did the magic on my own. I like to read books. I like to practice, perform, doing my own thing. And coming from Colorado and then moving to rural Missouri, Colorado did not have, there are magicians, but it was not a hub. Just not a lot of magicians to get to know. So I did the magic on my own, and then really started through comedy to see how that kind of a profession works and who you meet and just how everybody keeps track of each other and interacts. And I was then introduced to the magic community here in Minneapolis, which is a very deep and rich and traditioned and storied magic community, and came in as a complete outsider, and was struck with, you think that comics keep track of each other. Magicians really keep track of it. Comedians will sit around and you're either on or you're off, or some comedians are always on, or and you hang out and maybe you make people laugh, maybe you don't. But magicians will get together and just show each other card trick after card trick after card trick after card trick, and critique each other. One of the things that really surprised me, John, is, at least in this magic community, and this may not be the case everywhere. Hi, Don. Hey, Arlo. They will absolutely give you the most honest feedback you'll ever receive. Now, obviously, the most honest, the live audience is your ultimate feedback. I mean, your audience is going to let you know if you're failing or succeeding. But my God, when I started hanging out with these guys, I didn't want to say, if I was watching something and somebody showed me something, I didn't want to say, or that was great. I was very, very kind about it. And they're like, oh no, like that, that's not good. Like, don't do that. Have you thought about this? I mean, they have created such a comfort level with giving and receiving feedback. It's a lesson to learn, really.
Yeah. And so you've become friends with some very high level comedians as well. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but Penn and Teller very well. Yes,
I can say that. Yeah, I got very lucky. They're the reason that I started doing this. We saw them when I was in college, and just, I was in engineering school, just average grades, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And we saw that show, and man, I was like, that's okay. I don't know how you do it, but that's what I want to be. Surprise. And then years later, 20 years later, John, they came to Mystic Lake, and I had invented a trick and made the packaging and the marketing, and I wanted to give it to Teller after the show because they always come out. And Aaron suggested that I write a letter so that I could say to him what I wanted to say to him without getting starstruck and, just that.
Yeah.
And, I gave him the trick. He was very polite and cordial. I gave him the letter, which the last sentence was essentially, I'm here to open up any form of professional relationship that you would allow, whatever. And he called me back on the way home, on the drive home, and invited me to come back and turn around, but we'd already made it halfway home. And he said, no, don't come back. I'll email you tomorrow, is what he said. And then he emailed me the next day, and over the course of, it's almost 8 years now, have quietly developed an incredibly deep and meaningful friendship. I was lucky enough on my 40th birthday to go out there when they were in New York on Broadway, and he and I went and saw Hamilton together with the original cast, which is, I've never said that out loud in public.
Wow.
So it's a scoop, but yeah,
wow,
really fun.
That's so fantastic.
With him, I got to meet everybody, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. He's like your ticket to the big time. Although you don't really need a ticket.
I do need a ticket. I do.
Nah, you don't. So these days, obviously not right now, but so when you and I met, we were doing stand up over at Goonies in Rochester, where a lot of people are watching us. But you have kind of branched out to the point where you're not doing comedy clubs nearly as much now. You're doing a lot of corporate events with the combination of what you do, right?
Yeah, I'm in a real weird spot right now, actually. The bulk of my work is private corporates, with a lot of the jokes and the humor still from the comedy club, the hardcore stand-up days, 4 or 5 years back. I do the comedy clubs in the summer, all the local stuff that I still like, the rooms you and I both know and love, that are around. And I fill the opening role, and they know, like, I'm going to be doing magic in that set, and I'm going to be trying stuff out. And the goal, it's a weird spot right now because the corporate show still has enough comedy club dirty in it that it needs a little cleaning up.
Mm-hmm.
But because there's so much magic that's not comedy club funny. I finally this summer, John, the club dates, I closed with a magic trick that I've been working on for a year and a half, and it was like, it actually was funny. Like it was a quality closer. You know, I mean, your opening and closing are vital to your set, and it was very encouraging to finally close my last 12-15 minutes with a magic trick that met standard as far as what you need an audience to be doing in a comedy club. So I've got 3-4 things that I'm working on that ultimately what I would like is I'd like to have a magic show that is a little bit more on the clean side, not the way the stuff we used to say 7 years ago. A little bit more on the clean side, but then I'd also like the magic to be funny enough that it would be kind of the mountaintop. The goal is to be the top of the bill in a comedy club, still doing magic tricks. So that's
absolutely
kind of the goal.
Well, it's a great goal.
Well, thanks. It's, it is weird to be, being a variety act has its advantages. Being a comedian, we're so lucky to be in this area. We have so many talented comedians to listen to and watch. And I've always been grateful and thankful for the time I've been given as a stand-up. But, being around the best, not even the best of the best of the best. I mean, not even like nationally famous, but even just, really great working, traveling national headliners. They're so good. It's so good. And it's not a cheat, but it is nice to be able to show up and have the narrative arc of the magic that can carry the audience's interest, pay that off, and then they can be surprised and delighted that you're also funny, more than you would expect. But then the entire evening doesn't hinge on the level of humor in that corporate setting, which can at times be pretty rough, depending on the scenario. So, the magic gets strengthened by the comedy, and the comedy is better because it's not the outcome.
Right.
It's an interesting combination.
Absolutely. And you pull it off very, very well.
Oh, you're so kind. Thank you.
I'm not trying to be kind, because I mean, this is somebody that has to produce shows.
Yeah.
There are certain people that that you're like, yeah, I can hire this guy and he's going to knock it out of the park. And I know that when there are certain things that I have that are fundraisers, like I've had you do 2 fundraisers for me, and I know you would knock it out of the park every single time. I don't even have to worry about it.
Oh, well, thank you.
So, and it's just how it is.
Isn't consistency an interesting bear to chase? We talked about briefly opening and closing, and then you're talking about fundraising, and that whole, from the moment you interact with them on the phone or via email, you've just got this. So I've started listening to a lot of podcasts, John. I've got a lot of time on my hands, and I found the 172 episode, The History of Rome, and it is a little bit on the dry side, but I'm interested and I'm listening to it. And there's, of course, what's great is we have all these words like meticulous, but of course there was a guy whose name was Meticules, and Meticules, as you would imagine, was completely anal, and hence the word meticulous. There's all this just great stuff. But the reason I was bringing this up is because there's an old Roman saying, which is, and this was their take on war, right? This old Roman saying, and I thought immediately, like, oh my God, that's entertainment, which is amateurs focus on tactics, professionals focus on logistics.
Very nice.
That.
There's a nice compliment. The Babe Ruth.
That's my friend Corey. Corey's come along, and actually he's been my right-hand man at a couple of pretty high stakes gigs, which was really nice to have somebody who'd be willing to jump in the car and just take a little bit of the pressure off, and buffer questions before they get right to you. And so, hi, Corey. Good to see you. Awesome.
That's awesome. So, I have been requested. Oh, here she says, "How do you look so young?" I don't know. I think it's that I bathe regularly and watch my diet. I don't know what Michael's secret is.
My secret is a low quality internet feed with a little bit of distance between the camera and very soft natural lighting. I'm actually set this whole thing up in front of a window. That's the key to the illusion of youth. I'm basically in a Meryl Streep movie from 10 years ago. They're just Vaseline the entire lens.
Oh my gosh. So just to let you know, hi Tom. Thank you
Hey,
for
that's
looking
my
in.
father-in-law. Hi,
It
Tom.
is. Awesome. That's great. I'm happy that he's here. And I'm happy, I don't even know if my family's here. My mom lost her internet. My mom's such a huge part of this that she has a contest. It's Mom's Guessing Jar.
Well, my father-in-law has actually knowing that he's there, it looks like a spaceship. That's a friend from high school, Chad Lawrence. Thank you, Chad. This is my cockpit.
Excellent.
Yep, I'm in the good ship, Callahan. Anyway, my father-in-law, normally they'd be out looking for ancient artifacts on an afternoon like this. So he definitely stayed home and gave up an opportunity to be in the sun and find something amazing out there in Eastern Colorado.
Well, that's very nice. That's very nice. You're a draw, man. You're almost as big a draw as anybody I've had on here. I think honestly, I think people want to see you because it's one of those things. I found doing this that people who are really nice and personable people, who people genuinely like, and I think people genuinely like you, Michael.
Oh.
People want to come in and want to find out more about you. You have fans. They want to find out. They want to see if I ask any good questions, but mostly they want to see what you answer. And then I also said there was going to be magic.
Yeah, there is going to be magic early on, John. I think it's best when you're not very funny to not be a dick too, right?
Oh yes.
I saw you had Michael Thorne on the other day. Man, that was a guy. We all have so many stories about these handfuls of people who when you're starting and you're having some good nights, but you're having some good moments, but you're also not having some good nights. And there's just a number of people like John Bush, Michael Thorne, who for whatever reason, I would even say actually for me, Matt Fugate, they just spend a little bit of extra time with you and they let you know that, from their professional perspective, it's worth continuing to plug away. And also to be patient. Can I tell a quick Michael Thorne story?
Absolutely do.
So he asked me to go open for him on a run in Penguins territory down there. I had never done anything for Jeff Johnson, and we were down there and started on Wednesday, got home on Saturday night. It was the biggest run I'd ever had. He'd worked with me one evening in Mankato, and he's like, can you open for me? And I was like, of course you say yes, even though you can't. You don't know what you're doing. And so we went down there, and the very first night was a Wednesday night. I can't remember the name of the town, but it was on our way down to the Dubuque area. Wednesday night, big room, elevated stage, like for years.
The Diamond Joe.
Yeah, the Diamond Joe. So big room, elevated stage, and maybe 7 or 8 people. Yep. And I got to, I think, 15 minutes. And I was supposed to do 25, 30, but I might have been 12 minutes, John, 12, 15 minutes. And I had never had that kind of an experience. And I just I burnt through all my material that was only going to last 22 minutes anyway. And I remember he was looking the other way at the back of the room. And I said, I hope you're ready, Michael, because I don't have anything left to say. And I put the mic in and he came up. And he did it, and then I was like, shoot, this is night 1, right? And we were after the show, we were downstairs in another room, and I said, I'm so sorry. He said, I'm not angry. I get it. He said, but I do have a question. I've got 2 questions for you. And he said, do you know what it takes to be a feature comedian? And I said, well, clearly I don't. And he said, you gotta learn. Can we swear?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So he said, you gotta learn how to eat shit for 25 minutes. And I was like, okay. He goes, you know what it takes to be a headlining comedian? I said, you gotta learn how to eat shit for 50. And he's like, yep, that's right.
Absolutely. No, and it's funny because that's that room down there at the Diamond Joe. It can be either good or bad because you never know what's going to go on. But it's a great setup.
God, that was the thing that frustrated the most about the first year and a half when I really had talked myself into getting, I had no business. I had no business opening. What happened was I got myself in Yoder's book on accident. I mean, I called in aggressively and I thought I was ready. And he said, "You're not ready." And I didn't follow up, but somebody logged me in the system and started giving me work. So I only had like 14, 15 minutes and maybe 5 of it was remotely funny. And it was just survival mode for, 18 months. It was really not fun at all.
Yeah.
And Fisher. Yeah. And so I lost my train of thought there because the trauma is so deep. What were we?
Well, we were just talking about how it was a nice setup and
no, that's what was so frustrating was to be in all these beautiful rooms that just looked awesome, and then just to just eat it.
that's one of the things that I found, and we've got another question from Bailey here, and I'm going to pop that up in a minute. But one of the things that I found is that I used to get these feelings about shows, and it used to be anytime I thought it was going to suck, it was really great, and anytime I thought it was going to be really great, it sucked, and it was like that for like 2 or 3 years, like consistently. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. And I'd go up and I'd be all confident and it'd be like, nope. But and I think part of it is for me that I get to the point where it's like, I'm going to do it. And I mean, if you like it, great. And if you don't, I guess I don't have any control over that. But it's like people ask me all the time, what do you do when you have a bad show? And I usually say, I count my money again.
Yeah.
That helps me get over it. Okay, so Bailey has a question here for you, and it's
here's a family friend. Does this level of fame make up for spending all of your wife's rent money on magic equipment back in the day? Bailey DeVetter Zalek, shame on you for what she's referencing there is my wife almost didn't marry me.
Oh my goodness.
Because we didn't have any money, and I was street performing then, and we had no money, John. You know how it is. We had no money, and I spent some money on what was going to be the difference. Why I wasn't the best street performer in Boulder, it was this idea. If I just did this idea, it was all going to change.
I got all sorts of stuff like that in my room right now that is like, yeah, I could, if I had the money that I spent on this that I used and it fizzled. Yeah, it's bad news, baby. So we talked a little bit about that. I like to ask people, would you say that show, I mean, it wasn't bad, but like you must have had some terrific hell gigs in your time.
Oh yeah.
Any that particularly stand out as like, okay, this is the one that made me question what the hell I'm doing?
The worst gig so 2 things. I will tell the hell gig story, but before I do, probably my favorite bad gig story was that when my mentalism show that you saw, that you're kind of referencing when I did that banquet for you, I got that standing ovation, whatnot. That was in a stretch of about 13 or 14 months where the show, I wasn't changing anything. I was performing more. I mean, the show was good, right? I mean, I knew it. I didn't have any questions. I was just like, everything was locked in and it was really fun. And I came home and I always, you come home late and Erin always asks, she's like, she's like, sleep. She's like, how'd it go? And I was like, went great. How'd it go? Went great. How'd it go? 13-month stretch. And I came home and I crawled into bed. She goes, how'd it go? And I go, honest to God, Erin, I don't think I'm ever going to have a bad show again. Next show.
Boom. Oh my gosh.
Streak snap. But that wasn't the hell gig. The hell gig was I got hired to do a back-to-back little corporates in southern Minnesota, very Catholic area, which I didn't know. I'm raised Catholic. I'm no longer Catholic. I'm an atheist now, but I was raised Catholic. So I know the songs, and I know when you kneel, and I know when you stand, and I know when you jingle the bells, and I know what you light it and how that's going to smell and what the castle. So I speak the language, right? So I'm in this little this little Catholic town somewhere in southern Minnesota. And it's for a seed company. This was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was for a seed company when real bad outcome for the farmers that year. The farm economy, they were just getting destroyed. Fuel prices were high. It was a bad year. And this was a thank you to the local farmers of this seed company, and they'd hired me as entertainment. And so first of all, I did not know that the entire room was filled with very conservative Catholic people. Then the guy, the owner of the seed company, like speaks for 25 minutes, basically apologizing for how he knows nobody made any money, and it's going to get better, and stick with our seed company, and we'll get through this together. And he does like the classic horrible intro. He's like, well, with that in mind, I guess this guy's supposed to be fun, right? You get that set up, and I walked into it, and I remember I did my opening joke. And the opening joke is that, I started in Rochester. On my way down here, I saw there's a billboard, and it has a picture of a baby on it. And it says, before I was born, I had dreams. And I want to buy the billboard right down the road and put up a picture of a baby. And it's going to say, before you were born, I had dreams. So, it's not an abortion joke, but it leans into that, and then it faints away in like a classic thing. And they, you could hear, that's like one of my 2 or 3 opening lines that I will do, just be like, this is going to be okay. Like, we're going to have fun, John. So terrible gig.
Oh my.
Go to the next one the next night, which there was actual overlap from the people who hired me.
Oh no.
He didn't know I heard it, but I heard one of the men tell one of the ladies in charge. He said, brace yourself. This guy is vile.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See, I it's funny how comedy is subjective, isn't it? Because in all the time that I've known you, I have never heard anything come out of your mouth that I would ever categorize as vile. Never once.
And yet, what I do is by many is considered to be, like, the show's considered to be edgy, which is fascinating to me as well.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think in the business, one of the toughest things is when you think you're making headway. There's nothing that steams you more than when you go out and you have a medium set, or you actually have a pretty good set, and you're in an opening position, or you're a co-headliner or whatever, and you feel really good about what you just did, and then whoever you're with goes and finds that extra 30% of audience reaction that you just don't know how to get to.
Yeah.
That's how you can have a good show and still be miserable.
Well, it's I tell this to people all the time. People, after the show come up and say, "Oh, that was great. That was the best. That was so whatever." And I'm like, I can find 12 different things I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
But of course you don't tell them that. I remember one of the shows that I remember with you, that you and I and Jamie Blanchard did, and you may or may not remember this. It was a Christmas party. Yeah, down in the basement of the Kaler Hotel.
Yes.
And it was for a very nice group, and the lady in charge was very, very nice. I don't remember the name of the company, but it was not set up great. And it was a situation where we were invited to come early and eat with them and enjoy dinner with them. And I
always want you to do that.
I was too stupid to know not to, and so I came in early, way earlier than you guys did. And they're like, "Oh, well, it's great to have you here. Come on, get something to eat." And I'm like, "All right, who do I sit with?" And it's just so awkward. And then the setup was, as I recall, well, we're going to do our boring speech, and then we're going to give away our prizes, and then you guys will go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what happened was they gave out their prizes in their speech, and I don't care if they do the speech in the long and short of it. Go ahead, do the speech, then let us do our thing, and then give out the prizes. Because what happened was they gave out the prizes and people didn't win a prize, or they were mad, they frickin' left, or they stayed and just got hammered.
Yeah.
And they were so hammered. I mean, literally, they were not paying any attention to us at all. And it was beyond my comprehension, and or I was so far over my head at that point. And she says, "Oh, you guys, that was great." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. That was great."
It takes a lot of gumption in those shows to have the conversation with yourselves. Like, well, is there something about what I'm doing that needs to be improved? And does that improvement, because the thing is, what happens in those kind of rooms is you're not allowed any subtlety. There are shows that can walk into a room that's not paying attention, filled with drunks, and kill. But those shows juggle with chainsaws, right? Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
And so then you got to ask yourself, like, well, if I don't like how this went in this kind of environment, do I need to write a show where I juggle chainsaws, or do I stick by my guns and I hold on to the subtlety and I craft a show that's intended for people who are paying the F attention?
Yeah.
And, it's not easy. Those are hard conversations. All the conversations one has with oneself are hard conversations.
I'll tell you, and that's one of the things. Okay, let's take another question here from another one of your fans. I know it's a personal question. Any tips on such a glorious beard?
Sure. The key is to lose your hair on top, because what that means is you're cranking out massive amounts of testosterone. And so it's hand in hand. So lose your hair, and then the beard will come.
I've noticed that as I get older, my forehead is just going back slowly. So I don't think I have the same. Plus, the big problem, I don't know if you can tell, I have whiskers. I don't shave every day now, but one of my big problems is everything is white except for this little chunk right under my nose. And so it's like, I don't want to have that there. That's not a good look.
No.
It's bad. Okay. So, we've got a package of playing cards. Do we want to do this trick right now?
I do.
Go ahead. Lubricate yourself. I'll do the same. By the way, this is awesome.
And if anybody else wants to play at home, and they've got cards handy, they can do this too. But I know there's also going to be a rewatch as well, so you can do that. You've got the deck of cards. I don't even have a deck here, John. This is one of the 2 tricks that I know how to do long distance. So if you would,
awesome.
Yeah, if you would first get your deck open and out.
All right, and this is a brand new, never been touched deck.
Yeah,
I mean, literally, I just got it from the card playing experts over at Walmart. Walgreens. Not Walmart. Walgreens. Walgreens is closer. And these are such a good deck. Hold on, stand by. All right, that's good. This is a low vision deck, and I'll take the. Okay, hold on here.
So you need to know, John, while you get your deck out, you're getting into a new arena of performance with me that a lot of the locals are familiar with, and because you see me do a show that I usually get everything right, we're now branching into the other side of my performing repertoire where stuff can go horribly wrong. So brace yourself.
Awesome. All right. So
what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to hold the deck up to the camera and show everybody that it's a new deck.
New deck.
Yep, get it up there. Actually, take those jokers out, John.
All right, there's 3 jokers in this pack, so that's a bonus.
Wow, they splurged.
All right, new deck. Like I said, low visibility.
And then boom, 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 boom. There's high visibility. Good work on that. Okay, keep going. Let me see all the way. Okay, so put the deck in front of you on your table.
All right.
And I want you to. Can you rock? Now, is your camera in a fixed position?
It is.
Okay. So hold the deck in your hand so I can see it.
All right. Face up or face down?
Whatever you prefer.
Okay. Well, hold it like this.
So hold it, put it in your palm.
On my palm.
On your open palm, like your hand is the table. And take some of the cards off and put them on the table.
All right. Done.
And then take the remainder of those cards and put them on top of what you just did. Now, what you just did is what's known as a classic tabled cut.
Okay.
Okay. So by doing that, every card is now in a new position in the deck, and it would be impossible to know where each card is. Okay, so put the deck back in your hand.
All right.
Cut it.
Again, same thing.
Cut it. And
Done.
cut it. Okay, pick the deck up. And then flip it so it's face up. Okay, and what I want you to do, actually, sorry, put it face, my fault. Put it in your hand like you're going to deal.
Oh.
And I want you to deal. This is where it's going to get a little crazy and we could get completely out of hand, okay?
All right.
So this is very important what we're about to do.
Okay.
Deal off the top, take the top card, put it on the table, face down.
Yep.
Is it face down?
It is.
Put a second card on top of that one. So you're going to make a pile 2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5.
5.
Good. Now go ahead. Now we don't know. Now shuffle the cards that you have in your hands a little bit.
High visibility, but hard to shuffle.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right. Good enough. There we go. Mixed around. Double cut, triple cut.
Okay.
Half in hand, 4 in hand. There we go. Okay. Second story comedy right there.
Get my mug in play here. Okay. Now, so you've got your face down cards on the table in front of you.
Yes.
You're going to create a new pile.
Okay.
Face up cards.
Face up.
Same thing, but deal 5 cards face up onto the table into a new pile.
Face up. Do you want to know what the cards are when I put them down?
I actually don't want to know.
Okay. I won't tell you then. All right. 5 down.
Okay. Take your face down pile.
Face down pile.
And put it on top of your face up pile.
Face down in front of face up. Got it.
So now you have one pile. Half of them are face down, and then the underneath half of them are face up, correct?
Got it.
Okay. Go through the deck and pick any 2 more cards that you want.
This one here?
Yes.
My favorite. Pick out my favorite cards.
Or just 2 that you are drawn to.
Okay. How about if I do this? I'll do that. Do you want to see them? Do
Nope.
I see them?
I don't want to see them. And now take those 2 and add them to the face down cards on top.
All right. Done.
Okay. Now take all those cards that are in your hand.
Oh no.
What?
He's locked.
Am I back?
There we go. Hold on. Now we're back.
Okay.
Now
So-
we're back. Oh,
okay.
Internet.
I know.
All right. So 2 cards that are face down on top of the other.
And now
That's where I'm at.
Okay, so now take the rest of the deck that you have, the leftovers,
Yes, sir.
and just set that aside.
Perfect.
Okay.
Do I need them ever again?
Nope, they're done.
All right.
Now
Perfect.
I've got an envelope, and I don't know if you can see with the light, but I've got an envelope. You can't see it. I should have brought a flashlight. You could backlight it. Well, here. I've got an envelope with 1 card in it, John.
Okay.
What I need you to do is on the table, you're going to take your packet, pick up your packet in your hand like you're going to deal.
The ones here that half up and half down, yes?
Yes.
All right. Got them.
Now what you're going to do is you're going to deal. Watch what I do on the screen. You're going to deal into 2 piles. So you're going to start at the top, and you're just going to deal back and forth. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 to create 2 piles, okay? And some
All right.
of them will end up being face up, some will be face down.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Done.
All right, so you've got 2 piles in front of you.
I do.
You're going to put them back together into 1 pile, but what you get to choose which pile goes on top. So you can pick up either and put it on top, but you also get to choose whether or not you flip the pile before you put it on or you just put it on.
Do you want to know, or is it up to me and you don't even know about it?
I don't even get a no. Your choice.
All right.
You can choose which pile gets add on top, whether or not you invert it or otherwise.
Okay, it's done.
So you have one pile again.
I have one pile again.
Okay, so hold it in your hand just as you are, and
Got
now
it.
you're going to deal into 3 piles just like you did too. Watch what I do. Like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Gotcha.
Okay.
1 pile, 2 pile, 3 pile. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. All right.
We're increasing in complexity, John. So
I
now
know, because it's hard.
we're going to create 1 pile again, but now you have 3 piles. So
Yes.
you're going to pick 1 pile, put it on top of another
Okay.
pile with the choice of getting to flip or not flip. Then you can decide whether or not you pick up both of those and add it to the 3rd pile, flip, don't flip, or take the 3rd pile, add it to these, flip, don't flip. You see what I'm saying? You have all different choices.
Many
Create 1
choices.
pile, flipping or not flipping. It's
All
up
right,
to you.
so we'll do that one, and we'll do that one. All right, done and done.
4 piles. Now you're going to deal 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Gotcha. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right.
This is okay. This is where it's going to get a little bit tricky for me to explain. Listen to my instructions before you act.
I am
Take the pile that's on your left,
on my left.
and you're going to pick it up, and don't do this yet. You're going to pick it up and put it on the pile to its right, but you are going to flip it over to do that.
Okay, so it's up and pancaking it over.
Exactly.
Done.
Take the pile that new pile you just created and pancake it over to the pile to the right.
All right, pancaked.
And then take that stack and pancake it on top of the last pile.
Pancaked.
Now, because the camera was fixed, the audience didn't get to see that. I mean, cards are face up, face down.
Yep, they're all over the place.
Okay. John?
Yes.
This is where it gets awesome. In front of the camera, I want you to spread them out like you're looking at your cards to play a hand of pinochle. They're all one direction except for 1 card, John.
That's right. Son of a weasel. I don't know if you can see that, folks. Can you see it?
Here's
Son of a weasel.
Go ahead and take a look at what card you have, John.
It is the 9 of spades, ladies and gentlemen. 9 of spades. I can't believe this. Get out of town, brothers. Oh my God. So unbelievable. So unbelievable.
You made it through. So I've been trying to do that trick in the close-up show for 8 months. I can't get him to follow the instructions.
Oh my God. Danny wants to know where to get one of your second story mugs. Corey tells him mjcallahan.com.
Oh man.
I got to tell you, Jed, you guys seriously, I am not kidding. Michael texted me before probably at about 10 o'clock and said, "Hey, I want to do a trick. You got to have a deck of cards." And I'm like, "I don't know if I got a deck of cards." He says, "That's even better. I want to make sure that the deck of cards has not even been opened yet." And holy, unbelievable.
Do you want to do one more?
I would love to do one more as long as I come out looking like I'm smart.
You're going to look great.
I mean, my God. Unbelievable.
Thank you, John. That was very fun. So this is the kind of thing that I'm struggling, and you're gonna now see why the act isn't comedy club funny, because I have been trying to take things that I find interesting and turn them into magic tricks.
Gotcha.
This is the product of one of those things. Here's what's going to happen. As sad as this is, I apologize. I don't know your birthday, John.
That's fine.
Okay, but the thing is people may not believe that I don't know that. They think that maybe I'm saying that. I actually do know it. So what I'd like you to do is think of somebody who that I don't know, but you know their birthday.
Okay.
You have that person?
I do.
Okay, Jordan Williams, what's up, Mankato?
Yes. Do you want to know who it is, or does it make any difference?
You can tell me.
It's my mother. I just thought of my mother right
Oh.
away, and because I know what her birthday is.
Yay! What is her birthday?
I don't. Am I supposed to tell you?
Yeah, you can tell me.
August 20th. I don't know what the date is, but it's August 20th.
Yeah, you don't need
The
to.
actual year.
Yeah, you don't need to do the actual year. So here's the thing. I think that with it being your mother and knowing that she's such a part of the show and usually chimes in and whatnot, people could assume that maybe I checked her birthday. So I'm going to push this out one more. So go one person deeper.
Okay. Fair enough.
Who's the new person?
My little granddaughter.
Granddaughter. What's her birthday?
Her birthday is May 2nd.
She's on May 2nd.
Only reason I know that's because I just got reminded of it today.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. Let's go with your first instinct. Let's use your mother.
Okay.
That's
fair enough.
That was, we don't have to get crazy. So we're going to use your mom. And we're going to play a game.
That's the big dice, folks.
It is. It's got a 2 on every side.
Oh, wow.
And now I'm going to tell you, now I'm going to show you why, John, parts of the show are not ready for the comedy club. So there's this guy named Daniel Kahneman, and he is a world-class Nobel Prize winning economist. All right. He takes things like, we have that saying, all's well that ends well.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what that saying is that we typically understand intuitively about ourselves that if we have an experience and if it ends well, we'll remember it well. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So like if you go on vacation and the vacation is great, but then your flight coming home gets canceled, you get put up in a hotel, which you end up having to pay for. Now it's costing you an extra $600 you weren't ready to spend. Your schedule's all screwed up. You're not going to remember that. You're going to remember the bad part of that vacation.
No, yes.
All's well did not end well.
No.
So here's where Daniel Kahneman is like, this is why he's a genius. He conducts these experiments. So here's the experiment that he took this basic idea, and here's the experiment he created. He brought people into his lab, and he had them put their hand into a tray of really cold water.
All right.
So cold, like Lake Superior cold, right? Like it aches a lot. It actually is physically painful, but it's not so painful that they can't do it, right? It had to be very uncomfortable, but they could keep it in. So they have their hand in for 60 seconds. And take it out, and he gives them a break. And after the break, he brings them back in, and he takes their other hand, sticks it in the tray of cold water, but for 90 seconds. All right. So 50% more pain.
Yeah.
But at the end, without telling the participants at the very end, they warmed up the water 1 degree, which is not enough to make the water. It still was cold and painful, but they could tell that the water had gotten warmer. So they've experienced more pain, but at the end, it was like, did that feel warm there at the end? And then he gave them a break. He brings them back in. He says to them, which hand do you want to do? Your choice. So what he's asking them is, would you rather have less pain, or would you rather have more pain with a little bit of a happy ending?
Oh my God.
80% of the people chose more pain.
Wow.
Because isn't that crazy?
It is.
So, according to science, what I'm about to show you only has to end well.
I love it.
Okay. So inside this box, John, is another box, and it could be any color. I want you to think of a color. What color are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of purple.
Close, but no, I was thinking of blue, John.
Oh.
And as you know, the way the last trick worked and in the mentalism game, that's a failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want you to please think of an animal.
All right. Giraffe.
I was prepared, John, with I had made an origami chicken.
Oh, that's very nice.
Thank you. Origami chicken. But no giraffe.
No.
Equally disappointing.
So far we're yeah.
Yeah, so far it sucks.
So far it's no 9 of spades.
It's true. We'll just call back to that.
Okay.
Think of a food, John. Any food, name a food.
Oh, carrots.
No, John, I had given you the hint with the chicken because I wanted you to think of
Oh.
So we're 0 for 3, John. Here's the deal. Do you have your phone handy?
I do.
Okay, get up your calendar.
All right, hold on. Stand by.
I love that you just reached into the downtown there with your
my phone's down in the canal.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the calendar. Got it?
What is your mom's birthday?
My mom's birthday is August the 20th.
Okay, so go to August the 20th, upcoming August.
All right.
What day of the week is that?
That is a Thursday.
Okay, watch. You ready?
I'm watching.
It was supposed to say Thursday.
But it said so we're still waiting for the good part.
No, that was literally
That was the big reveal?
Yeah, that was.
You know what though?
Hey John, everything I promised about how I
love the big spiel. About I mean, wanted, you know how bad I wanted it to be Thursday?
Not as bad as me.
Heck, I'd have been happy if I'd have just got. So here's the thing, honestly, when you and I mean this sincerely, when you first asked about the color, I thought blue, no red, no purple. Blue was the first thing I thought of when you got a blue box. So I feel like I'm the one that screwed it up.
There is one way. This isn't that cool, but there is. I love that you brought the fact that there's a blue box. So remember how I said we only had to make this end well, John?
Yes.
Hold on. I didn't prompt you to talk about the blue box, did I?
No, you didn't.
And we had a good laugh over the day of the week.
Yes.
Would you be impressed? And the box, I know that it didn't really, I feel badly that it might have nothing. I didn't switch these boxes, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to take the blue box and I'm going to set it here. And I'm going to take the white box. I'm going to put this back together. Do you remember that the white box was on the outside, John?
It was.
Watch.
What in the hell? How, what? Unbelievable.
It's called a Gazinta box. It was created by a mathematician, genius guy. If you're interested, anybody who wants to can look this up online and see the formulas. It's a really brilliant, beautiful thing. So,
oh my God, so fantastic. So fantastic.
Not as fantastic as had that been a Thursday. Hi, Karen.
Well, Karen, thank you for looking. And Denny says you could have been right because this is leap year. That makes absolute perfect sense to me, Denny.
John, what day? Don't look at your phone. What day of the week is your mom's birthday this year?
Friday. Holy crap! It's just blowing my mind, man. You're blowing my mind.
It's been so good. It's been so good to see you.
You too, my friend. Tell everybody again about Second Story Comedy. You just did a show with Fancy Ray McCloney that was very, very well attended, and I got to watch part of that show. Please, I know you've got some more planned. I don't know if you've got dates set for those yet, but please tell people how they can find out about Second Story Comedy.
Sure, you can follow it on Facebook. It's 2ND, like the number 2 Second Story Comedy. That is the logo. You can always see the logo. You can get us on Twitter or Facebook. And so we've got this show left to do, and then we're probably going to do a makeup show with Maggie Ferris because hers got snowed out, and we're now doing streaming shows. We will be at 8 p.m. Central Time. We will do probably an hour and a half live streaming show. It's going to be with Ben Katzner out of New York City, and because of the new format. Yeah, I know. Can you believe we got Ben? And then check this out. Because of the new format, Ben has found at least one, maybe two other New York comedians who are going to come on with us. One who is open for David Regan.
Oh, very nice.
So what we're going to do is we're going to, hey, Lance, that guy used to kick my ass in the wrestling room every single weekday when I was a young, I don't think aspiring is right. But oh boy, good to see you, Lance. He is an amazing wrestler.
Thanks for watching, Chad. We appreciate it very, very much.
Chad's one of my best friends in the whole wide world.
Awesome.
Hey, Chad. Anyway, we stream it. We're going to stream it, and we're going to do the same thing. We're on the front end. Me and Tom and Ben are going to horse around. And then we learned a valuable lesson last time, which is we're only going to have the comics do like 30 minutes of comedy of stand-up. Yeah. And we're going to be on screen with them so they can hear us laugh and give them sort of an audience, because we let Fancy Ray go alone, and he was doing great. But then the moment we came back on with him and he could get a rhythm, it really improved what he was trying to do. So,
yeah. Well, fantastic, folks. Please, mjcallahan.com is where you can find out more about Michael. If you want to hire him for one of your events, once we're able to do this, and I'm sure he can do, you could do a virtual live comedy show for somebody.
Funny you've said that. We've actually been asked to do that. We got booked to do one next Thursday in California. So if somebody wants to, as a work thing, like somebody wanted to make sure their employees, do something nice for the employees. So we're going to do a 45-minute private show. So
cool. So very, very cool. Folks, before we say goodbye to Michael, I know you, so my mom has this thing, and I have to do this quick before we go. She has her guessing jar, and these are the rules. She's got a jar full of Legos. The closest to the actual number without going over wins. If there's a tie, whoever guessed earliest will win. And tomorrow I will announce the winner of a $25 Amazon gift card. And for those of you who have not seen it yet, here it is.
Hi there. Here we are with another guessing jar. As you see, there are Legos in here. Legos are pretty small. In with the Legos, I have some little men. There's a horse in there even. Good luck on the guessing. Some of those Legos are tiny. Good luck.
All right, and that's it. Go ahead if you want to pop a guess in the comments. You're free to guess if you want to as well, Michael. Although you probably already know what the answer is.
It's Thursday.
It is. It is Thursday, the 9 of spades. My gosh,
I want to go with 425.
Okay. 425. I'll mark it down, and if you're correct, I'll let you know. I gotta get Mom's video, the answer, the reveal, and we'll play the reveal tomorrow. But folks, we just appreciate you so much, Michael, for taking the time to come in. And Denny Ryan says 349. Ben says 235.
Finley, that's Finley was one of my comedians with me on the show.
Oh, awesome! Thanks for looking in. Myra says it's 563. Corey says it's 420. That's a little bit, it's my mother, Corey. She's not
even from Colorado. That's an Iowa making a Colorado joke.
I know. Well, it doesn't make any difference to me. My mom is not a weedster, although she could be, but she chooses not to be.
She hides it.
She's getting knee problem. Anyway, the point is, Michael, it's been so fantastic to spend some time with you, and I really appreciate all the time you gave me. I know you have things to do with your family. And again, folks, mjcallahan.com. Look him up. Really, it's definitely worth your time. He is a guy you want to know.
Thanks. It was so much fun, John. Thanks for giving me a reason to put my sport coat on.
Heck yeah, that's what I'm trying. And folks, as always, if you see anybody doing any streaming online, whether it's stand-up comedy, whether it's a virtual open mic, whether it's somebody playing acoustic music or otherwise, whether it's somebody doing anything, even painting, please, if you notice it in your feed, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, whatever it may be, stop, give them a like, watch it for a little bit, let them know what they're doing has value, because now that we're all sort of stuck at home, That's one of the hard things for creative folks. We need to have some value to what we're still trying to do, and we're still trying to get a little bit of a response. So thank you so much, Michael. Again, fantastic, my friend.
Do, John. Thanks for doing what you do and reaching out. This has been a real treat.
I enjoyed it so much. Folks, tomorrow at 1 o'clock, Logan Nielsen and Andy Fisher will be with me, along with Chris Schlichting from Davenport with his Schlick Shopper segment. I can barely say that without drooling on myself. And we will announce the winner of Mom's Jar Contest this week. All right, folks, take care and keep safe. Bye-bye. 9 of spades.